Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone. This is Chrism, and I would like to welcome you to this conversation about your Kundalini awakening experience. I'll be your host this afternoon here, and this evening, and this morning, and other places of the world. So welcome, world, to this conversation. I want you to know that you can call in at any time. The guest call-in is area code 347. That would be a New York City area code. So area code 347-934-0026. 347-934-0026. And I want to welcome everybody here. And as I go to the chat room, I'd like to welcome the folks that are starting to collect in the chat room. Hello, everybody there. Okay. Okay, busy week. Busy week. So the scenario with what she wants to give you today is about seeking answers. How do I say it? You know what? I'm just going to have to read this because it's a fairly involved scenario here. So let me get on over there and read this for you. Just a second here. Yeah. 9 minutes. Okay. Getting there, ladies and gentlemen. And here we are. Okay, so it goes like this. Do not base so much of your equation on past. And by that I mean the past experiences of your Kundalini, even some of the karmic redemptive qualities of what you had to move through in order to have the Kundalini. The past is not where you are right now. How you thought in the past and the conclusions that you came to in the past about the Kundalini are no longer relevant to your current Kundalini transformation. Let it go and no longer allow those chains to hold you back. Whatever has happened, and there's no changing it. But there is the changing of your perspective about it. And so what I'm talking about here is you've come some distance inside of your Kundalini transformation. So you're no longer the innocent, oh my God, what is happening type of individual, unless you are, of course, that is having the Kundalini come to them and you know, in a perhaps a surprising or a bombastic way. And what the Kundalini is saying is that you're in a constant state of maturation. To be divine and human at the same time means that the Kundalini will cherry pick, and by cherry pick I mean it will pick certain qualities that it knows you need to have in order to progress in areas that it knows it wants you to do. And so even though you've had experiences, most of us are going to be looking at this in a logical, linear format. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? And that is just not how it's always going to occur with the Kundalini. Sometimes she'll do that just to give your ego consciousness some sort of a reference point with, oh, okay, we're going in a linear fashion. We're going to, first we have 1, then we have 2, then we have 3, then we have 4, et cetera, et cetera. What she's saying is that this is not always the case. And as you mature within your Kundalini experience, your wisdom about the reference points that you've been using to chart your progress are going to change. She's going to increase your level of understanding. And as she increases your level of understanding, the conclusions that you came to in the past are going to change. Let's see. I just use Chrism as an example. So I remember standing in the forest, standing in nature, shall we say, and having the wind blowing on me. As soon as I got there, a wind came up and started blowing on me. And then off in the distance, I heard the trees being literally thrown and crashing. And I felt this huge malevolent presence. I was standing there going, WTF is this? I had no idea what was going on with that, and except that it was extremely frightening and it was extremely physical. I mean, the trees were actually being broken, and I didn't wait there very long. I got out of there as quick as I could. But as I come in, now, years and years later, I can look at that and I can go, oh, wait a minute. Okay, that was a fear test. That was a challenge. That was something that perhaps if I had stayed and faced it would have been much better for my process, or at least would have allowed my process to deepen in certain ways. This is what I'm talking about. Let's say you had a teacher that treated you very badly, and even though he or she was, had the best intentions, and they knew that you had to go through this badness in order to appreciate levels of goodness, still your primary experience, the first experience you had was of discomfort, was of a nature that was extremely uncomfortable for you, and so you engraved upon your experience this very negative quality of this teacher, and I know for one that I am definitely a teacher that will teach a person in these ways. And as you have engraved that activity with your early Kundalini experiences, or your early experiences with these teachers, as you mature into your Kundalini, you begin to see the reasoning why it was so, what was being taught, how it was being taught, why it was being taught. Okay? And if you can release yourself from past issues of high emotional content, this will slingshot you much further than your first premier engraving of what that experience caused within you. So the scenario is that as you mature, your understandings of what happened in the past are going to change, radically change. And you've got to allow for that. And one of the best methodologies for going into the past and reassessing what may have occurred is through forgiveness. Forgiveness isn't just something that somebody does because, oh yeah, mom taught me to be forgiving and dad taught me to be forgiving, and Kundalini, says you got to be forgiving, and so I'm forgiving because Kundalini says I have to be forgiving. You've got to really engage it in a very sincere manner, and it's never over. It's never done. You got to remember, we're surrounded by egotistic expressions all the time on this world and in whatever society you're in. Okay, whether the society is a kleptocracy or a democracy or a theocracy, or you're living under the dictates of a dictator, whatever the society is, you're always going to have ego expressions there, and this is helping you to deal with that. At the same time, that it's helping you to work Kundalini to an even greater level. Now, the problem that I get sometimes is the use of language. Language, of course, the English language is, left to right. It's very logical. It's very linear because of the meanings that need to be put into it. So when she writes through me, she loads it up with many, many layers of reference points and learnings and teachings and experiences and suggestions and all of these things. And so I'm going to continue with this, and let's hope it doesn't confuse anybody too much. It's as you move within grace, find out what the teachings of your past traumas and joys were all about. But do it without the innocent ignorance of how you were then. In other words, do it within the current level of maturation rather than the innocent, ignorant person that you may have been when you were first experiencing it. Do it now within the sharper, advanced focus of your current levels of expanded understanding. Allow for that change in your perspective. And refuse the die-hard, deductions and discernments and figuring about how things once were. Refuse it. In other words, let your wisdom dominate the resentment or the revenge or the feelings of anger. Let that go. Refuse it. Refuse it. And look at where the blame or the shames were, or even the gratifications were, and let that go. Change. And if you have not yet, even though if you have Kundalini, then you're constantly being changed. But if you have not consciously embraced that change, then you must. Kundalini is a flow. It's not a logical or linear flow, but it is a flow nonetheless. It's shall we say, it's a diametrically, this is within our physical limitations of language, once again. It's a diametrically expressed flow. It's like an exploding star. So it goes out in all directions at the same time, but it also goes inner and outer and into every quadrant of a circular expansion. So allow for that change to occur. Change within yourself to accept the flow that the Kundalini is. And, change is part of that flow. So each day has a brand new story for you within your equation. Your grace is constantly changing itself and its manifestation within you. Just as you wouldn't judge someone from the perception of the 2-year-old you once were, neither is it appropriate to judge a person, or in this case, a Kundalini experience, from the perspective of a 32, 42, 52, 62-year-old you may have been when you first had it, or you first encountered that teaching, or you first encountered that phenomena, or you first encountered that wisdom. Okay? She's suggesting that you go back into the experience with a mature, to the point that you are, a mature attitude and in order to glean the levels or the kernels of wisdom that are still there waiting for you to collect them. This is really important because it's not just surface level, pick the flower, smell the flower, throw the flower away with the Kundalini. She doesn't, she has a stem to offer you. She has the roots to offer you. She has the soil to offer you. She has the 1,000 hours of sunlight and prana to offer you. She has, there's a sacred male aspect. I mean, there's so much gifted into the compact, combined levels of interaction and experience that a person can have within the Kundalini, and you really got to take advantage of it. It's not just taking a sip out of the cup and then, setting it in the refrigerator for a few years. Who made it? What attitude did they have when they were making it? What components of the earth were used in order to make that cup? It goes all, it's very, very, very in-depth and involved. And so you don't want to judge the experience by your past levels of consciousness that you had within it. You've got to bring it up to date. So you got to look at, like say, within the teachers or within the phenomena, what was the Kriya doing? How were you feeling during the Kriya? What levels of wisdom has she given you in order to find a greater level of depth and balance within that depth of the information that was offered to you at the time that it was offered? And I know some of you are getting that glassy-eyed look already. I can feel it. Like, oh God, what is he saying? This guy, he's a nut. So I'm just going to move on here. We are constantly being directed and educated by our Kundalini and changed by our Kundalini. And what once would have been considered a great breach of trust or a catastrophic action of destruction be seen through different eyes as the maturity and the wisdom of what happened, why it happened, how it happened is achieved. The what, why, and the how. Those understandings change. They change within you. Okay, now I gotta go over here and check in with the chat room just in case I'm talking to them. No, thank you, Andrew. Oh, Andrew, I went to the post office today, and I want to thank you for that kindness as well. Thank you. Pandananda. I love that name. I think we have to figure out a way to get that on Facebook for you. Pandananda is perfect. Okay, anyway, coming back here. All right. So no matter how great the breach of trust or the catastrophic action of destruction was experienced, it will be seen through different eyes so that you can harvest the deeply embedded seeds of wisdom and information that activity actually had within it. It's not all about just sending you off into a hissy fit because your ego was challenged, or your idea of reality was challenged, or even your idea of a belief system was challenged, or your cultural dignity was challenged, blah blah blah, right? So these things are really depending on your ability to hold within and discern through your current levels of wisdom and the current levels of understanding of what happened, why it happened, and how it happened. So, as we go through this, we're constantly being given information about it, and in the dream life and in the waking life and all of our life, we are given inner teachings. We are given these inner teachings as it is clear from the perspective of the limited human being hidden behind the veil that humanity cannot know where it's going. Even with the grace of Kundalini expanding within them, they cannot know where they're going because they still must trust. And trust is a never-ending fire that must be fed through the blindness of the divide between mortal flesh and divine flesh. In other words, once again, as I've said before, in order to nurture trust or develop trust, you can't know the answers. You can't know. She'll dribble out little answers for you, but that is because of your trust. Greater level of trust you have, the more information you have. The more information you have, the more levels of wise discernment you can make. Okay? And so, therefore, grace is here to help us with that trust. And with that trust, we're given greater levels of direction. As we earn our maturity through our surrender, we are given to feel within our heart the opened eyes of love through visions of what life truthfully holds for the destiny of heavenly human. Okay, now that's a big deal. As you go back into your experiences and you begin to discern the greater message, you begin to ingest the deeper kernels of wisdom that were given to you through the harsh experience or the challenging experience or the joyful, beautiful experience. As you go into those experiences and you relive them through your memory, you begin to ingest, the stronger truths that were being offered that were just kind of glanced off your ego, and the ego got pissy, or the ego got really, oh, this feels so good, let's just do this again and again, and that's all we want, right? As you go back and you experience those earlier experiences within your process, and you're able to take the deeper meaning, the deeper understandings internally, and begin to apply them to your life, apply them to your feelings, apply them to your Kundalini connection, apply them to the people who have helped you and worked with you in these areas in your life, you will be given a greater level of understanding and love through the visions of what your enlightened life truthfully holds for you. Now, and don't be ashamed because you can't see it or hear it or feel it or taste it. This is not all about the five senses. And, granted, the five senses are very important as they are also conduits of emotion. Like, say, the ego is a conduit of emotion. The mental mind can be a conduit of tactility. You can feel it in your mind. All of the five bodies have multiple expressions that will cross-circuit into, one body to the next, and so on and so forth. But the scenario is that, don't have the expectation that it's going to align itself within a five-sense expression. So, and most of you, I think, at this level of Kundalini that you may be having right now, don't have that expectation. Okay, I don't think that you have that level of expectation. Some of you will, though. Some of you will. So don't be ashamed. Don't be upset at yourself if you can't align it with the five senses. As we move through the flow of the Kundalini and embrace our own changes within it, we sacrifice the ignorance, innocence, and the explosive ego-filled expressions of anger, resentment, revenge, and we see through the lies we have lived as our trust is strengthened, and as our trust is strengthened, our wisdom is strengthened, our information is strengthened, and we are strengthened and able to move closer into that divine merge. That divine merge, your hand and God's hand becoming one hand. But you can't do it all at once because we have all the stuff within us that is blocking that merge. And so as you move with the flow of grace and you embrace your own changes within it, i.e., you're going back into the past, you're looking at how you handled a certain situation, you're looking at how it could have been handled better, you're allowing yourself to collect that information, digging deeper than just the petals of the flower and going into the stem and the root and the soil and the earth and the sacred mother. As you're going deeper into your experience and you're assessing these earlier experiences in a more mindful or a more wisdom-oriented way, you're allowing yourself to to remove the resentments or the anger or the pain or the joy or the expectations or the attachments that you may have laid down earlier in your process. And these tracks that you laid down may not be as conducive to the heavenly merge as you would hope them to be. You've got to do this purification. You've got to detox these areas. They were given to you not by accident. You got to remember, once again, I didn't write this down and just, what do they call that, extemporaneously speaking here. You got to remember that after the Kundalini is activated within you, and certainly after it's awakened within you, it has total control of your life, whether it's expressed itself that way to you or not. It has total control. It will allow you to have an entity. It will allow you to have what you would call an accident. It will allow you to make mistakes. It will allow you to learn in whatever way it feels is important for you to learn from. It will let you get sick. It will let you break an arm. It will let you have an accident. It will let you, it's a whole myriad of things that it will allow you to have, cause you pain, will cause you learning, that can cause you love and joy and happiness and attachment. She'll allow you to have all these things, but she is in charge. Sacred Feminine, Sacred Mother is in charge as she is gestating the child towards the divine physical merge. That merge is the most important thing. That is why we are here. That's why you're even alive on this world. And some of you may say, "Oh, no, Mr. Chrism. No, I had to burn through all this karma. I had to make these children. I had to do this. I had to do that." And I'm just going to say no. She knew from the conception of your body what you were going to do, and she allowed you to have a patterns of probability that you could follow that would indeed allow for karma to be burned and creation to be given. However, she could change that game anytime during your logical linear line of human experience. Okay. It's very important that you realize the total control that Kundalini has over our lives, has over our health, our happiness, our choices, our probabilities. Okay. And as you go back into your life and your experience with the Kundalini, and you harvest those kernels of wisdom that needed time to come into the profound expression of understanding that they're there to give to you, but you may not be thinking that you need to reassess. And I'm saying, and she's saying that, yeah, you need to reassess it, to look at it again and again and again as you continuously merge within your Kundalini awakening experience. It's not a one-shot discernment deal. We're we see a movie once and we're like, oh, okay, yeah, it's a great movie. I really like, this actor, that actress, whatever, but you don't want to see it again. And then there are some movies where, oh man, that was so good. You'll see it like 20 times, right? Well, this is one of those movies. Your Kundalini experience is one of those movies that you need to see over and over and over and over and harvest the new nuances of meaning, the new kernels of wisdom and information and experience, and extrapolate from those experiences, those jewels of wisdom that are being given to you that needed time for you to mature. For you to mature within your Kundalini awakening experience, and then go back and be able to harvest. Okay. It's that merge with divinity that is really huge. You know, it's a huge thing, and yeah, that happens in the primary spinal sweep for sure, for sure. But that's just you being allowed to go through the door with with all the imperfections and all the impurities and with your muddy shoes on. Divinity's going, okay, all right, open the door, let him in. Oh my God, he stinks. Oh God, okay. Let's okay, get him out. Okay, we got to purify him here. We got to clean him up there. Oh my God, the smell. So this is what we're talking about. I mean, you're being given an opportunity to clean up the attachments, the negativity, the leanings towards egotistic acquisition or fear of this, fear of that. Your life is being sculpted in a way that allows you to be challenged in so many different ways. So many different ways, so that the right hand and the left hand of God and Goddess can interlace with your hand, and all of you can begin to just merge into a oneness, a single unit of divine flesh. That's the deal, folks. The divine flesh, a oneness, a singular plurality of divine expression. A singular plurality of divine expression. We're merging physically here. This is a physical merge, and a mental merge, an emotional merge, a psychological merge, a spiritual merge into the divine pattern, the heavenly pattern. And from that pattern, we begin to discern through that merging the multiple layers of existence that are hidden, and experience that are hidden from the strictly mortal view, or the view of the people around you that are just working from the area of the ego. And it's a far grander comprehension of creation that our expanded and yet still limited mind can understand. At this point, you got to remember, as you merge into the divine, you become at one and at a plurality with divinity, but you're still in your body. Your heart is still beating. Your lungs are still breathing if you want it to, and if she wants that heart to continue to beat. She'll stop your heart. You won't die. She will stop your heart, and you won't die. She'll stop your breathing and your heart, and you won't die. Are you getting the message here? This is why I said a little while ago, it's just like, she is in total control of your life. There is not one iota, one molecular, atomic, quark-oriented aspect of your life that the divine is not in charge of, that is not manipulating, that is not discerning, that is not watching you and how you do what you do and why you do it. So I say, it's a far grander comprehension of creation that this expanded and limited at the same time mind can understand. We are imbued through that merge into the vision of understanding that forgiving the past and consuming its newly discovered truths, once again, using the key of forgiveness to uncover the aging wisdom kernels that are there, that you looked over because you went off in a huff, or things didn't work out the way you thought they should, or the teachings were just so nasty, negative, challenging, and so not what your ego liked. Have a good one for those words. That you decided to just kind of block that. Okay, I need that. Just block it off. All right, close that door. Lock the key away. Throw the key away. She's making you a new key. That key is forgiveness. You open that door and you use the forgiveness to harvest those kernels of wisdom that have been waiting for you to do that. Okay. And so that we can consume these truths, but we can consume them within the current maturity and the current levels of wisdom that we have brought upon us through right action, through the surrender to the divine, through being able to mature through our pathetic, childish, sleeping-oriented, human, bombastic, egocentric, explosive ways that we may have had, earlier in our process. And not just with a teacher, but, just say with the Kundalini itself. It's like, why the hell are you putting me into this pretzel position? I don't like it. Stop it. What do you mean you're not going to stop it? Go on and so on and so forth. So you really need to reassess the earlier parts of your process. I don't care if it was last year, 6 months ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, doesn't matter. You've got to go into it and reassess what occurred and how you responded and harvest those kernels of wisdom that are just waiting for you there. Because you got to remember that Kundalini is not time-bound. It's not a temporal expression of existence. It's beyond temporal time, time is a river type scenarios. It's way beyond that. It created the river. It created the idea of time. And time really is just an idea. Oh, it's wintertime. Okay. Oh, it's springtime. You see this time connected to that. Winter time, spring time, summer time. The only one that doesn't have time to it is autumn or fall. It's not fall time or autumn time. So please continue. Please consider what I'm saying, and go back into your process and do the forgiving, and find the gratitude for the aged jewels of wisdom that have been left there for you to find now in this current time period, this Kundalini time experience that you have within you, and allow this wisdom to transform you continuously into the physical divine embodiment that you are. You are that. You've just got to take off the clothes, change the diaper, wash the skin. You've got to get yourself into a level of purity, and this helps you do that. So there we have it. Now, I don't know, do any of these, well, first of all, I would like to introduce my co-host, Santara Kundalini. This show exists because of her, and it has existed since 2012. And so I'd like to bring her into the program. Hello, Santara. Hi.
Hi, Chrism. Hi, everyone. Good to be here, Chrism. I really loved that. Thank you.
All gratitude to Kundalini, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But
Seriously,
forgiveness,
so
and I know, but it's wonderful. And thank you for, being here and passing these things on to us, to all the listeners. It's great. that's why it's wonderful for me to be able to provide this prism. So we hear, the Shakti through you.
Well, yeah, but I mean, God, I almost
Fact.
Yeah, I just think it put more credit to it. And I know that, like, when I was writing that piece, or when she was writing that piece through me, it was like she was building a body. It's like, I'd have to constantly, look at what was being said. It was a teaching for me too, and so all the questions that I had about it, I was like, oh wow, geez, boy, what is it, you're saying? And I had to understand. I had to go back into my past. I had to retrieve the kernels of wisdom that were waiting for me there, the jewels of wisdom. And I had to remember my actions, like say, being natural in nature and having that thing happen to me, or any of the various other things, entities, or the wonderful things like, Shakti would come to me and show me what slot machine to play, and then having that win, and having that be such a validation of her existence in my life, let alone, the thousands of dollars that I won with it, but to have that vision come to me in such a physical way, and to look at it and go, oh, I've got to act on this, and to make that choice to act on it, and then to reap the reward of not only the experiential aspect of her being a real force in the life, but to be rewarded for that, for taking that advice, and to, putting myself out of line in the in society, so to speak, and then going over to the Crystal 7 machine and putting $60 in there and having 3,400 come out because of that, and have the Chinese women behind me, like 5 Chinese, like a Greek chorus of Chinese women going, "Oh, you so lucky, you so lucky."
Yeah.
So yeah, you reassess that. You look at that. You go, not to be attached to. You don't think that you're going to go in there and make your living off of the casino now. But so there's levels of wisdom and discernment there as well. I mean, it's just like amazing. It's amazing how we are given certain kinds of instruction that goes so far against society. I think most of society would say, yeah, don't go in there with your last, pennies and put them in a slot machine, right? It's
right.
Not the last. That would not be the first option, I think, for people to do. They would see that as an addiction, And, but in so many other ways, she does that to us. She puts us in positions that are totally anti-societal. Things that you would be counseled to never, ever, ever, ever do with yourself or with another person or with a casino or whatever it may be. That would be forbidden with the society. Like if you're in the Hindu society right now and the Shakti is saying, "Oh, Krishnananda, yes, my child, I want you to eat the pork now. You go and eat the pork." The what? The pork. The pig.
Yeah.
You eat the pig. I have to eat a pig? I have to eat meat? I've been vegetarian all my life. What do you mean I have to eat meat?
Yeah.
It's a big deal. And you, Santara, you know this better than anybody. Because you were that vegan.
Well,
you were the vegetarian. You were the person that I'm talking about with that, right?
Yeah, right.
You had that experience.
Yeah, I did. And lots of other ones as well, Chrism, that you're speaking
of.
I
know.
can relate to all of them.
I was just using that as an example,
Yeah. I know.
To be
One
to
of
be
the
challenged
things as
in
well.
such ways. Go ahead.
Oh, I know. And I can imagine, I mean, whatever about me, because I would have eaten meat long ago when I was younger and all of that, I can imagine how a person brought up in a Hindu background, that would be so hard for them. And yet the Kundalini is making the compulsion.
And that is that is the insult. That is the insult that, well, I shouldn't say insult because she's kind of beyond insult. That would be the challenge that person would have to overcome. I just gave this, people contact me. Somebody contacted me and they said, oh, my body is hurting and I've got this pain in my shoulders and my neck and in my joints and my wrists, my ankles, my knees, my hips, all the joints of the body are really screaming in pain. And I just looked at that for a moment and I was given the instruction that this person needs to eat some meat. And I said, have you ever eaten meat in your life? Knowing that probably you say no. And of course they came back and they said, no, it's not part of our culture. In our culture, it's vegetarian, and I live with my family. And so, it would not be a very conducive thing for me to eat chicken or whatever in front of my family members. They wouldn't even, and they wouldn't even want you to cook it in any of their pans or anything, right? But, because, And so I had to tell them, I said, well, go away from your family and find some fish. Go to a restaurant, a cafe, whatever. Find some fish and get those compact nutrients, those compacted oils that will help your body produce the amount of synovial fluid that you need to have as your joints expand into the sockets, which crepitus, like kind of pain, extreme. And so you need to have greater levels of synovial fluid, synovial oil, to lubricate the joints. And that's what compact proteins and compact enzymes and combinations of proteins and enzymes and oils and prana and the Kundalini will create within the endocrine system, of a person that is being guided to eat the meat, and however they're guided to do it. And it's really important that person get over the cultural disposition of the society they're living in. All the Indians are going,
they've left.
Or they're going, I can see that you're not a real guru yet, Mr. Chrism. You can see that she's not a real guru.
But Kundalini does that. The very thing that's important to you is the very thing you'll be challenged on. The sacred cow, so to speak. The thing
eating the sacred cow.
Yeah.
Think about that. Eating the sacred cow. Oh my God. That's got to be rough. That's got to be rough. To worship the cow. And of course, it's okay to have the milk, right? It's okay to have the milk. It's okay to have the cheese. It's okay to have the butter. It's okay to have, the products that they produce from the cow, just not the meat. Can't have the meat. Can't have the blood. Can't have the other products of the cow. It's a cultural thing, and the person, the Indian person, the Hindu, I should say, the Hindu person, and really any person of any culture is going to need to surrender the control of their life to the Kundalini. And that includes all cultural taboos, all of it. And as I mentioned before, Centauri, you're a great example of that. That happened with you. They're a great example of having to change a lifestyle in order to go further into your process.
Yeah, and I think we have to do that. I mean, what happens if we don't, Chrism? Let's say that time if I had refused, we'll say, I went, no, I won't eat the fish.
Well, we just need to go as far as the example I gave. They're going to have some really painful joints. They're going to think they're having arthritis. they'll go to the MDs, and the MDs will go, oh, gee, you've got arthritis, osteoarthritis. Here, take this drug. And they'll take a drug that they don't need to take that will, in some way mess around with their endocrine system, and it becomes this perpetual cycle of trying to fix a Kundalini phenomena that is not needing to be acquiesced to. It's needing for the person to obey. And as they continue to do this, they go into levels of resistance. And as they resist the Kundalini in that area, that bleeds over into resistance in another area, which bleeds over into resistance in another area. And pretty soon they've developed a psychosis, and they're heading for the psych ward where they're waiting with syringes in hand saying, oh, take these drugs. And then the chemical cage is being built. That's one scenario.
Okay, thanks.
Or they're educated.
I suppose the other thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, go ahead. The other thing.
I was going to say the other thing that you were referring to is forgiveness. When we look back on traumas that we've gone through, say in the earlier parts, it maybe even before Kundalini, but in the earlier parts of it, like forgiveness really is so important. I mean, I know that from my own experience. It is the starting point really for maturation. It's from there that I think it begins to develop, and like what you said, you have to do it over and over and over. And when authentic forgiveness is being given, I think then Kundalini gives us insights and revelation, and we begin to be, to see the how and the why and the what of what happened.
These are the jewels. These are the jewels that are waiting for us to go back and harvest them. I mean, let's look at emotional relationships are a great way because, for a long time a person will be guided. Well, okay, I don't think I need to have a relationship right now, and I'm doing great in my Kundalini practice, and I'm not having sex, and I feel really strong in my Kundalini practice. Wonderful. And then all of a sudden she comes along and dumps a relationship in your path, and you must do it. You must engage the relationship. And that's really hard because you're on one hand, you're being confused because, well, for so long, maybe a year or whatever, she said no relationship. Now all of a sudden she's saying relationship. And you got to wonder, well, why now? What's going on now? Why is that happening now? And I'll tell you right now, it is a test. It is to test your responses within relationship. Do you become dominated? Are you the victim? Are you are you an appropriate not appropriate? Are you giving love? Are you giving surrender? Are you giving love and surrender not only to the person she's directed you to, but Kundalini within you, who is directing this show? Are you allowing yourself to have love in a relationship, but also to continue to expound and expand the relationship that you have with the Kundalini? Are you starting to see why she's giving you this relationship and she's forcing you to have it? And it's not all about just, let's go out and drink beer, or, let's go out and have a nice romantic dinner. Oh, look, it's Valentine's Day, that type of. It's not all about that. There are deeper levels of learning and education to be given here. Extreme levels of refinement. Are you giving your all into this relationship at the expense of the Kundalini? Really? So the force that is giving you the instruction to have the relationship is now to be denied or ignored? No. And if that's what you're doing, boom, then you know where you need to correct it. And so on and so forth. And, it goes across. Same thing with a job. She doesn't allow you to work for years. Like for years, she's like you're living in your Volkswagen van, right? You're on the side of the road, and you're like peeing in water bottles, if you're a man. Some of us have to pee into Gatorade bottles, but that's beside the point. Okay, so you're homeless and you're living in your car and you're not working, but you're meditating and you're doing your spiritual work, and you're not going into judgment of other people. You're giving service. You're doing all these things. And now she gives you a job. No, I want you to work now. Here, I want you to work, and I want you to work in a dialysis unit, which is like, for most people, you go into a dialysis unit, it's like death hangs in the air at a dialysis unit. When you go into a dialysis unit, this is for people whose kidneys have failed, and they have to come in there and have their blood cleansed, or they die. And they're just waiting for that kidney transplant, and they're just waiting, for death to overtake them. Death is constantly nipping at their heels as they run from it, and they're hooked up to these machines, and the machines clean their blood, and you're being asked to clean all the dialyzers. This is the filtration units that they use to clean the blood with, and they rehook the dialyzer back up to the machine, and they run another cycle with it. And it's like, and so I have the Kundalini, and I'm touching all this blood, and these dialyzers come back to me, and they're full of blood, and the heat of the blood is there, and my hands are touching the plastic and the fibers that the blood goes through. My Kundalini's going into those fibers. And it's really kind of gross. I have to be honest with you. It's like kind of gross. And they run this really toxic chemical through it to clean the dialyzer. She put me in that job. And I'm making decent money. I can afford to get a place and stuff like that afterwards. But, that's not the point of the job. The point is to obey her and to continue to see the ramifications of the teaching that she's giving you, even though it doesn't agree with you. I mean, I've worked medical before. That's not a big deal. But to just deal with blood products, that's just kind of like, geez. She sent me to the blood bank for the same reason, never mind. You have to... You have to obey what she tells you to do, but you got to do it beyond the discernment of your ego, which is what we're talking about this whole program. You don't get to have that ego response and then move on. There's no moving on. You can put it away for a little while. This is what she said. Yeah, okay. I allowed you, my child, to have that egotistic response to that terrible, mean teacher that I gave you to. And we'll just leave that alone for a minute, because I gave you to that man, that horrible, horrible man, and I gave you all of those experiences to that horrible, horrible man was giving you, but we'll just leave that alone for a moment. Just let you go on. It's like, oh, okay. Go into the Shaktipat and have these great dreams I'm giving you, sleeping with snakes, sleeping with jaguars, doing all this stuff. And then, but, a couple years down the line, hello, Mr. Chrism. You remember that problem that you had with that terrible teacher? You remember that? Yeah. Well, let's go back. Let's go back into that now. Let's have a different discernment of the experience that you had with that teacher in order for you to collect the jewels of wisdom that your less egotistical consciousness has now. I've given you a few years. Let's go back into that experience. Let's go back into the dialysis experience. Let's go back into the blood bank experience. Let's go back into the teaching experience. Let's go back into that naked in the forest experience. And let's harvest the jewels of wisdom that are there waiting for you to harvest. Because now you're mature enough to be able to harvest it. Now you are. You weren't then. That's why I let you move on. But now you are. You get what I'm saying, right?
Absolutely. Yes, I do.
Yeah. Let's see if anybody in the chat room understands it. Nope. Nobody in the chat room gets it. Talking to the chat room there. You gotta wake up. Come on, wake up. Come on. Michelle gets it. Michelle, thank you, Michelle. Thank you, honey. Yeah. So one person got it.
Everyone else is sleeping.
Everybody else is going, what else is on TV? Okay. So that's the deal. Yeah. That took me a long time to receive that from her because I had to go through this stuff too. It's just because she says I'm a teacher, blah blah blah, doesn't mean that I know everything. And I had a fairly interesting upbringing, shall we say, within the Kundalini. But I see Indra has a question. Now, anybody else who's calling in, if you have a question, please put the question mark up there. That should be a little option there on what you have with that. So I'm going to go ahead, unless you have more to add to
you just press
Centaur.
number. I'll just tell people, if you have a question on your dial pad, you just press the number 1, and then we see here in the studio that you have a question. So that's all you have to do. Press number 1.
Del Solananda, Matthew, says, yes, Chrism told me in 2012 when I was in crisis that my Kundalini was telling him not to tell me. I get it. Matt, if you don't mind, if I can expound on that, and I'll wait for you to answer if I can expound on that a little bit more. So we'll just wait for that. Now, Centaur, do you have things that you'd like to add to this conversation? Experiences or wisdom collected?
He has actually said yes, you can expand. So do you want to go ahead?
I'm waiting for you, my dear.
Okay.
Do you have things that you'd like to add?
Well, no, just the conversation we were having, Chris, and that no, I have nothing to add. No.
Okay. Well, when Matt I was talking to Matt in 2012, and he was in crisis. He was like deeply enmeshed in the shall we say the changeover from strictly egoic thinking, thinking strictly with the ego, wants, desires, attachments, illusion, fear, all of these things, that he was being moved away from, and as he was being moved away from, they were being given a lot of energy, a lot of force within them, and so his ego was like exploding, just literally exploding, and there was a lot of learning that he was going through, and he was asking me questions that my Kundalini was saying, no, you can't tell him that. She was allowing me to see it, but she wouldn't let me tell him, and I think it pissed him off. And Matt is not someone you want to piss off. This is a guy that runs barefoot for 10 miles in a night. He's jumping off of roofs and whatnot. Oh, he's ex-military as well. And he's an ex-policeman from Florida, no doubt. You know about people in Florida. No offense. I'm kidding. But no, he was having a hard time. People have extremely hard times with the Kundalini because they're being confronted with an enforced change of their actual reality. Andrew said, like some kind of a beast. But we've all met Matt, so we know Matt is one of the kindest, most loving people, very, very joyful, very much a blissful individual, and a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful individual, and a beautiful father at the same time with his kids. He's really great with them, and they'll all be joining him, pretty sure of that. So, I mean, this is the kind of father that you'd want to have, an expanded, semi-divine father. Anyway, and Bo adds in, he says, move or I will move you. And, you know, and that would be more of a Kundalini thing. It's like, you know, poor Matt was, you know, he was struggling like we all struggle in some of the early throes of Kundalini, you know, and coming from a specifically regimented kind of life expectation of life. And I'm sure that he has some kernels of wisdom to harvest, you know, as we all do. And so, I wasn't allowed to tell him. I wasn't allowed to give him the information about a certain thing and the other certain things, you know, just, it would not help him. It would have just added to the confusion, and in some ways adding to their days, you know, Matt is this like professor. He's like this doctor of teaching. Seriously, you know, he works at universities. This guy is extremely smart, but he needed to go through that level of ego extrapolation and ego engorgement in order to get to this point where he is right now. And it's a good point where he is right now. He's in a good place. So no, thank you, Matt, really, seriously. And thank you for the helpful things that you do for so many others. Anyway, going back to you, Santar, do you have anything that you'd like to add to that? Oh, we've got lots of questions here.
We have questions, Chrism. Do you want to go to Indra first?
To India?
No, Indra. Indra from Canada.
All right. There we go. We'll go to Toronto here. Here we go. Hi, Indra.
Hi, Chrism. How are you?
Snowing. Is it snowing? Snow angels?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it isn't.
How about mud angels? You considered mud angels. Those are also fun.
Yes. It's cold, but it's not snowing.
How may I help you today? Thank you for calling in.
Yes, thank you for being here. You brought up relationships, and it's funny because I've been struggling with that. Well, I did tell you about I was dating a guy, and he's like a functioning alcoholic and whatever. So I decided to take a break from him because, like, I'm not sure what his motives are, and I felt like I needed a break. But the relationship, go ahead.
Wouldn't that be the discernment anyway?
Yes, but okay. So, it was a strong discernment. I needed a break. I took a break, okay?
That's what I'm saying.
This guy is,
That was the test. That was the test. In other words, your options were, this guy's a functioning alcoholic, but he's cute. He's great in bed. I mean, I like to talk with him. I like to walk with him. I like to be with him. He's a functioning alcoholic, and therefore, he happens to be bringing all kinds of entities into my house and into me and into what we do together. And, because I need companionship to such a degree, then, I'm willing to sacrifice what my, perhaps my relationship with Kundalini or my relationship to my morals or my relationship to purity or my relationship, in these spiritual areas. But you said, no, I am not willing to sacrifice those areas.
And I really wasn't, because he got into a big argument with me about my spirituality, and I go, well, listen, that's kind of like off limits here. That's for me to decide. And I really felt like I needed a break, and I took a break. And after 2 weeks, he contacted me. And this seems to be happening every 2 weeks, 2 3 weeks. We'll go on a break, and then he'll contact me, and I'm going, well, what is Shakti saying? Should I have compassion here? Because I do, and I have empathy, and I just don't want this person, feeling like I'm not there to support him, because it's not about
you're
that.
Not. You're not there to support him.
Okay.
Look, are you forcing the bottle into his mouth and the chug-a-lug of alcohol to go down his throat? Is that you?
No.
No. Who's doing that?
He is.
It would not be beneficial for him to be in a relationship with a Kundalini awakened woman to the degree that you are.
Mm-hmm.
All it's going to do is expand his illusions, his Maya, in many cases, his ego is going to be on fire, and putting him next to a Kundalini woman is putting out that fire with gasoline.
Say that again. What do you mean by that?
I thought I was really clear. Putting
okay,
this
I lost
man
you there.
in a Kundalini relationship with a Kundalini awakening woman is going to expand his ego.
Right, I got that.
His diseases to the point where being with you is going to severely expand those issues within him. Now,
even though he doesn't know what Kundalini is or what I'm going through?
That doesn't matter. No, that doesn't matter because the energy's in you. It's a real deal. He doesn't have to know. There's no knowing. Having effects from Kundalini is not dependent upon a person having knowledge of it.
Right.
Most of the people that it comes to have no knowledge of it. Okay, so no,
I think you're right because he did tell me since he met me he's been drinking more. And maybe that explains it. I don't know. But so Chrism, if he contact me again, should I just say, listen, it's over, it's done, and just go, just close that door and move on?
That's your test. That is your test. That is your discernment to make. I'm not going to make that choice for you.
Okay. Okay, but how do I know it's not ego?
Ask your Kundalini.
Okay. Okay, well, I got my answer, and I'm satisfied with my answer.
No, you didn't get your answer. You didn't get it from me.
I got it from you, but that's kind of like confirmation from, I think I know what I have to do. And I was trapped in between what is right, what is wrong. Okay, get your ego out of the way. What is the Kundalini saying here? Do I go beyond? And
that's what you need to ask. What is the Kundalini saying here? That's what you need to ask.
Okay.
I'm just grateful. My roof isn't leaking here. I'm looking at the roof.
Is it raining?
Yes, but I'm looking at the roof and it's not leaking. I'm in the Spartan. Santara knows what I mean by being in the Spartan here. I'm sitting in one of my most comfortable chairs, and I'm, the lights are on, and I'm by myself, and no dogs or cats, and I'm just looking at I just love the wood, the wood, and I'm surrounded by wood, and it's not leaking.
Chrism,
Yes.
I almost went into the ravine today. Well, it's just
to do what?
overlooking my.
To do.
I almost went into the ravine today. There's a fence that separates the ravine from my backyard.
You mean
and you
like naked in nature?
that I go in. Yeah, once you suggested that I go in there, and I almost went in there today.
Oh, good. I guess.
And I could take like the. I don't know what stopped me, but I can take the dirt from the ground and put it on my face.
You eat some? I'm just kidding.
I didn't hear you. You.
Oh, that's good. Okay. So you put dirt on your face. Go on.
No, I had an urge to do it. I had a craving to do it.
Why didn't you do it?
I didn't do it.
Why?
I don't know. I'll do it tomorrow.
Do it now. Go out and do it now.
Okay, I will.
Or after the program.
After the program, I'll go. But I had this urge. I had this longing. I had this all day. I just wanted.
You just have to answer those urges. You've got to do those things, especially if they go outside of what you think is the right thing to do.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do it after the program then.
Okay. All right, my dear. Thank you for calling in. Thank you. Okay, and here we go. And I'm going to say,
Can I just
ladies and gentlemen, go ahead.
I was going to say to Indra, don't talk yourself out of those urges, Indra. Especially, the stuff about nature. When she gives you an urge, it's from the Kundalini. And you need to obey it. So do it there and then. Don't postpone it. Don't make up excuses. Do it.
Just do it. I agree 100%, Centaur. Well, I'm going to move on down to Mr. Ishmael. Mr. Ishmael, hello, sir. Thank you for calling in, Ishmael.
Hey, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much.
How may I help you today? I'm doing well, thank you.
Pretty good. It's actually been a few weeks since I've been on a call. Been kind of dealing with some things and kind of distracted.
Yeah.
Well, my relationship with my daughter's mom is kind of still rocky. We just kind of like broken up again. I guess it was more so of her just accusing me of cheating. Don't have any verifications, but I felt like there was more to it. I guess she just wanted to kind of move on, leave, whatever the case was, which is fine with me. But I have some questions about some things.
I already know it's not fine with you. Don't say that it's fine when it isn't.
I kind of think it. To me, I think it is fine. I feel like I just really just need to let go, stop holding on. I feel like that's where a lot of my problems with my back issues, and I think it's extending a lot from my relationship with my daughter's mom. And it was kind of weird because I was actually listening to some videos of yours, some of your old videos, and I had stumbled across a very good a video that you gave a good message that kind of just really just opened my eyes to just needing to just get rid of the fear of a lot of things that I've been holding on to. That's been really causing a lot. That's just been really causing a lot of physical symptoms that I've been dealing with. I've been dealing with actually a lot of physical symptoms with my Kundalini. It comes, it goes. I think she's been very fair for me these past few weeks, and I'm truly thankful. And some of the things I'm not understanding is just the message behind the symptoms. What is it that I need to know, or I'm not understanding it. I'm trying to understand. I'm having an open mind with it. Just like the body aches, I'm still having back pain, and I'm still just a lot of different symptoms.
Are you still breathing in toxic cleanser fumes?
Kind of.
Yes.
I've kind of been trying to stay away from it. Yes, I have, but I've been trying to make better decisions in regards to that. It's just a lot. Like, okay, now I've been having a lot of tooth problems. I had 2 decals. I had 2 teeth that had to be removed. Now I'm dealing with a lot of teeth problems, more than I have ever. It's like back to back to back to back. And I have a root canal now.
That really happens with the Kundalini, and definitely take care of your teeth. And if you need to get rid of them, get rid of them. The teeth are the chakras. You got to remember they are chakras in and of themselves. So do your best to keep your gums in good shape, and do your best to keep the teeth in good. If you take care of your gums, your teeth will, typically stay in good shape. But if you're messing with your immune system by not following certain,
You say immune system? What's that?
You don't know what the immune system is? Seriously?
I don't think I probably couldn't hear you correctly. You said in system?
Immune, the immunity system.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And if you're breathing in these toxic chemicals, some of them will go directly after your immune system. And what happens is, as you collect bacteria and certain forms of virus and fungal elements within the gum tissue, the gum tissue tends to lose its circulation. And as the gum tissue loses its circulation, it opens up the teeth to levels of dental caries that cause cavities and that cause a general level of dysfunction within the upper and lower teeth arrays. And so you really need to massage the gum tissue. This is for you. But it's actually for everybody too. But I'm just looking at you right now. So she wants you massaging with your fingers, your clean fingers, the gum tissue surrounding the array of teeth. So on either side of the teeth, going on the uppers and the lowers, you need to massage it with your finger. It's a finger massage. You can also use very, very sparingly, some. Just a second here. Yeah, just do the massage. Do the massage with the fingers, and contact me privately about some of the other things that you can do for your dental hygiene. Make sure you go to.
I was going to ask you if you did private settings, because there's a lot of things I wanted to talk with you about.
Right, they're $30,000 for 15 minutes, and so that's only what I charge Centara. I'm sorry, that was the Centara. That was the sister-in-law deal. Anyway, you can contact me at kfireforall@yahoo.com. Anyway, but there's more to be added with that. And with regards to the relationship, take your break. I mean, it's okay to have breaks, especially if you're still able to stay in contact with your child. Okay, visitation, all that stuff.
Yeah, I still have contact with her. I mean, before she used to kind of utilize her to keep her away from me, but now I think she kind of realized that, my daughter, she's old enough, she's smart enough, and she's even talking about it, that she's done it before, kept her away from me, and she, didn't too much. My daughter didn't too much.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work because my daughter's old enough to realize what's going on. I had another.
Once again, I'm gonna say it once again. Look at toxic fumes that you're breathing in.
Mm-hmm.
Change the chemicals.
Okay.
To a less toxic combination.
Okay.
Okay.
But,
And did you have another question?
Yes, I have another question. I've been having this strong desire, urge. It's always on my mind. Can't get rid of it. That I want to move to South America. It's like I'm just very uncomfortable.
That you what?
Very eager.
That you what?
Wanted to move to South America.
I think it's more of an ayahuasca thing. She wants you to go and have the ayahuasca experience, and I would go to Alonso del Rio's in Peru and have that experience.
Mm-hmm.
And do the fasting, do the real strong levels of fasting. We didn't have to do it when we went down with the Kundalini people. We didn't have to do it. We were doing it, but we were doing a very, very strong level of fasting, taking out all animal oils and all these different things. And I'm suggesting that is what is calling you down. She's calling you to experience the liquid Shakti that the Banisteropsis capi or ayahuasca and chacruna, what is it? Something Veridis. Anyway, the chacruna and the ayahuasca work in combination to explore specific levels of Kundalini teaching for you as you take it. And I suggest you do at least 3 to 4 ceremonies with him, and save up enough money so that you can stay there on the property for a little bit, like maybe 10 days, if you can do that. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, the reason why I was just saying it is just because that, it's just the way I've been feeling. It's like the intuition is just so strong, just wanting to really relocate somewhere hotter, somewhere warmer, where I have mentioned it before that I wanted to kind of move somewhere down like Texas, but I felt like there was a lot of demonic play in that as well because it wasn't really anything kind of good. But I've been having this really good.
There's demonic stuff all over the world. There's no place except maybe, in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the desert. Even then, you bring your own demons with you. So there's demonic stuff everywhere. Don't let that stifle your experiences.
Right.
Demons feed off of the ego. We all have egos. And demons target certain areas of the emotional body, the mental body, the spiritual body, especially the egotistical body. And that all has ramification on the physical body.
Right.
Give yourself to your Kundalini to such a degree that you no longer have fear of these demonic influences. Seriously.
Mm-hmm. It was just a thought, like
that's
when
where you need to go.
It was just the cravings of moving down to like Texas. I would get these thoughts in my mind, these crazy, things like being part of the, drug cartels. But that was like, I was like, no, that's not right. But when it was coming to South America, it was more like, yeah, you need to. This is where I want your energy. More to be in line with your spirituality, and it was all positive when I was always getting vibes.
Visit South America, and maybe start at Peru and do the ayahuasca, and see what you're given while you're down there.
Okay.
It's not expensive.
All right.
It's not expensive to do. Okay, I mean the flight is probably the most expensive thing.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, I'm gonna definitely get in contact with you. Master.
Okay.
So,
all right. You don't have to
I definitely appreciate everything. No, it's a pleasure.
Kundalini,
it definitely is.
Kundalini is the master, in this scenario. Okay.
But you
well,
two are our masters.
Well, I look forward.
I appreciate it. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Putting you in the blue here and coming on down to Miss Tyra. Hello, Tyra. Thank you for calling in. How may I help you?
Hey, how are you, Chrism?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Great to hear you, as always.
Oh.
So,
What's going on, my dear?
So like I'm updating you every week with something new, right? So past 2-3 days, like for example, I'm sleeping, I'm in the blanket, and I feel like there's a big wind blow that passes over.
A what?
Woof.
A what? A what?
A big, like if somebody's blowing some wind on you, like a big blow of wind, and I'm inside my blanket, and I'm like, where is this wind coming from?
Oh, you mean like blowing air on you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and
the Shakti.
It
the
passes
Shakti
like
there.
from like either top to bottom or bottom to top. It's like a wave of
No, that's normal. That's a normal Kundalini phenomena. You'll be in an enclosed room, and there'll be a soft breeze being blown upon you. That's the Kundalini.
Right. Oh wow, really?
Yeah, and that should really give you the idea that, oh my God, this is a real deal. This is a real thing. I really need to pay attention to this. This is paranormal coming into my life in a very, very profound, physical, tactile way. And let it, use that experience. Use that experience to just let it help you to really surrender into the Kundalini. Surrender the control of your life to the Kundalini.
Oh, surrender.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. And this is very funny because I'm like, it's very cold here, right, on the northeast. I'm inside the 2 layers of blanket. And I'm like, if you are inside a blanket, how do you feel that wind blow on you?
Yeah, she doesn't. Let me tell you. The Kundalini is the source of miracles.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be a miraculous event.
Right.
You don't get a breeze inside of a sleeping bag unless it comes from the nether end of the individual. And typically it's when you've done that.
Sorry, say that
typically.
Again?
Never mind.
What?
It's all right. It's all good.
No. I want to understand what you're saying.
There's only 2 sources of a breeze being generated inside of a sleeping bag, and one is your mouth, and one is the other end.
Oh wow! And also, like when I wake up in the morning, I feel like there's constantly something working on my brain because my brain, I feel like it's not rested. If I wake up with a very heavy head, it's like I'm having some download or something. Yeah,
you are. You're being rewired, and you're having maybe some cranial plate migration, although you can typically feel that. Really just begin that process of surrendering the control of your life to Kundalini. It will be okay. You can still drive a car. You can still, operate a computer. You can still clean the floor. You can still take a bath. I mean, these things, she understands that you're in society, and unless, like Ishmael's, maybe she's counseling you to go live in the jungle, then you go live in the jungle for a time.
That's wonderful.
She's definitely communicating with you through phenomena, though. Definitely, Tyra.
So the lesson here is the learn surrender. That's the lesson here. Huh?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank
Absolutely.
you so much from the bottom of my heart. And you guys are doing a great job. Can't be thankful enough. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I'll put you in the blue here, and we'll come over to Mr. Mohan. Mohan, the man. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm good, Master. How are you?
Oh, let me turn my headphones up a little bit. Are you inside of work? You have to whisper?
No, I'm at the mall with my kids at the taekwondo.
You're at the mosque? Oh.
Mall.
A mall. The shopping mosque.
Yes.
Well, how are you, Mohan?
I'm doing good, Master. Firstly, I have an announcement to make about the seminar in Denver.
Please do. So this is about the seminar in Denver. Okay.
Yes. I would like to take this opportunity to invite everybody on this call in the chat room to come over and attend the seminar in Denver in April 28th and 29th.
So the invitation is for everybody in the chat room and listening in the archives. Mohan is extending his invitation to you to come to the seminar that we're having in Denver, April 28th and 29th, 2018. And I would also like to extend that invitation to all of you, to meet you and to see you and to laugh with you and learn with you all about what the Kundalini has to say. Mohan has really taken the tiger by the tail. And have you put any of those flyers out, Mohan?
Yes, Master. I put the flyers out in some places, and I got some interest from some people. I sent out the registration forms, and I'm waiting for the forms to be filled out.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing as many people there as we can come, and it's a beautiful little hotel. It's actually a couple of hotels, and there are good deals on the rooms there. And Mohan has really outdone himself, I feel. Mohan and Rosemary have really outdone themselves, and this is a very inviting place to have the seminar in the mile-high city of Denver. So those of you that would like to come, that can come, I encourage you to come. Absolutely. Thank you, Mohan. Thank you for the announcement.
Thanks, Master. And I have a question, Master.
Yes, sir.
So in the Kundalini equation, like, does every dream we have has a meaning?
Every dream that you have has a meaning, yes. Once you have Kundalini within you, every dream that you have has a spiritual message for you. Your task is to be able to discern it within the Kundalini context.
Okay. It has been a long time since I've had any dreams, but since last 3-4 days, I've been having dreams like crazy.
When?
Sorry, last 3-4 days.
Oh, you've been having the same dream the last 3 or 4 days?
No, not the same dream, but different dreams, but they don't have any meaning. Like in one of the dreams, like
tell me one of the dreams. Tell me one of the dreams. And speak up if you can, okay?
Right, I am trying. Yes. So in one of the dream, I'm there with like many people. It looks like a party to me. In the party, there was a woman whom I have never seen. Like stranger, she was cutting a guava fruit, and she was eating that fruit, and she was turning to other people, and she was saying that, wow, this fruit tastes wonderful. And she was turning to me, and she was making like she was about to puke off the fruit. She doesn't like the fruit, and she was doing that continuously. She was looking at others and saying that it's wonderful. It's tasting. The taste is very good. She's looking at me and saying that I hate this fruit. I don't know.
It's a lesson. It's a lesson to speak your truth and feel that truth. You don't want to say one thing and mean another. In other words, you're being counseled not to lie, and that is within a Kundalini context, and it's for other people that are around you too. The people in your life. The strangers that you meet in your life. She doesn't want you to comport yourself in a way that is deceitful. You don't give somebody a fruit and says, "Oh, that's the best fruit I've ever had," and then turn around and puke. It's no accident that she was turning around, making that face, and looking right at you. You need to look at where in your interactions in life, and everybody does this. This is not an unusual scenario. Where in your interaction of life through negotiation with friends, or negotiation with work, or negotiation with family or strangers, where are you not representing your truth honestly?
Uh,
Sorry, can you guys hear that?
yes.
Yeah.
Could
I
you
think
all
it's
hear
from
that?
Mohan. Yeah,
Hello?
Hello.
I think it's Mohan. Is that you, Mohan?
Hello?
Somebody?
No,
Oh,
no, it's not me.
Oh, not me either, Chrism.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
I don't know what to do here. I'm not hearing anything. Just a second.
Oh, Chrism can't hear us. Can you hear us, Chrism?
Hello?
What?
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, you there?
Yes, we are there, Chrism. We are able to hear you.
Do you hear the phone call that came in?
We were able to hear.
Anyway, you've got to find out where in your life you are not being truthful about how you feel.
I don't know.
Well, just where within your coworkers, you know. Now, I know one area where you're not being truthful. You want me to hear it? You want me to say it?
Yes. Yes, please.
Please. It's your location and how you prefer India over Colorado, right? So there you might not, you know, be as because you want to be nice to people and you don't want to upset them and you don't want to, you know, be a depressive person. You may not stick to that truth when you're in conversation with them, right?
Yeah.
And that equates to the levels of energy that are being broadcast by your Kundalini into a population of people, like the people at the party. Okay? So even though you may be telling them that the fruit tastes good, and i.e., you know, Colorado is great because I have a good job here, I can make money here, I can buy another house, I can do all these things, truthfully, your mind is going, I'd much rather be at India. This place is crazy. I mean, they got Donald Trump for a president, for crying out loud. How could things be going any worse?
but the actual thing is, it was not me who was tasting the fruit. It was somebody else who was tasting the fruit and was reacting
she's using
to it.
that. She's just using that as an example, as a teaching tool.
Okay.
The other thing is, how are you, say with the seminar, how are you communicating the seminar to people? That it's all good, that it's all bliss, that there's never going to be any challenges?
I was telling about there will be challenges. Once your Kundalini awakens, it will take you to all the dark spots in your life. You have to face the things that you're afraid of, like whatever you're trying to resist, they all will come up. It will be a journey.
Well,
that's what I'm telling them.
Well, you might want to amend that. They won't all come up at the same time. That would just scare people away. They'll come up when they need to come up, and it's typical that she gives you time to discern and to manifest levels of surrender, levels of wisdom that allow you to ride those waves of discontent that a person may have. But so it doesn't sound like that you're misleading anybody with the seminar, so that's good. And so, you know, it's a subtle misleading about, you know, enjoying Colorado, but really you'd rather be back in India. That's, you know, it's not hurting anybody. I think she's just really showing you to stick to your truth, the utmost truth, much as possible. And remember, she was showing a fruit. What is the name of the fruit again?
Guava.
Guava?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And she's cutting off pieces of fruit and giving them to people, saying it's really good, where in fact she doesn't really like it.
Yes. Yes.
Just a second. How do you feel about guava yourself?
I love it. We had like 5 guava trees when I was growing up, and I used to eat a lot. I used to like them. I still like it.
Okay. I'm just thinking that maybe she doesn't want you to eat so much of that right now.
I didn't eat guava in years now.
Okay. There are certain guava has a certain structure. Some people that are doing the ayahuasca are guided not to eat guava before they do the ayahuasca as well. And so there's something within the guava that it has a certain structure that may not be conducive to certain things. The fact that she was kind of like looking like she was going to puke is another kind of an indication. You know. So I'd look at that as well. And yeah. It's odd how I get these visuals.
Okay.
Speak your truth. Speak your truth always in as nice a way as you can.
Yeah, I
Look
never
at
tell
guava.
anybody that I like Colorado. Whomever I meet, when somebody asks me like, "How are you liking it here?" Like, I always tell them, "No, I want to go back. I don't like it here. I do want to go back."
Well, good. Okay, and then look at your consumption of guava. Look at that, and that's been coming recently. Is that the same dream or certain? Give me another dream that you've had lately.
I was walking through a jungle, and some voice was keeping on telling me stuff. Like I was seeing lions, I was seeing other animals and insects, and the voice telling me that now the order has changed. The lion is not the king of the jungle. The bugs are the kings of the jungle because the bugs eat up the lion. So I was like, really? The bugs are the king of the jungle?
Well, they truly are. They truly are, no doubt. You're being taught on very basic levels about. Yeah, that's a really good Kundalini dream there. And even though the bugs are the king of the jungle, it's really the plants that are the king of the jungle. And then if you go even further, it's the soil and the sun, the earth that is the king of the jungle. She's spreading out your awareness of a hierarchy of power. Wow, that's really loud there. That's really loud.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's all good. It sounds to me like they are definitely Kundalini dreams. And I'm not quite sure she wants you eating the guava.
I didn't eat in years, like maybe 5 years or 10 years. It's been a long time.
Good.
And the other thing is, when I close my eyes, sometimes I'm able to see with my closed eyes.
Yeah. That's really good. Yeah. Your eyelids disappear. That's what the ancients called having your eyelids removed. I could do that too.
Not exactly how we see with open eyes, but I see in black and white.
That's a third eye. Your third eye is starting to open, my friend. Don't encourage it. Just let it do it the way it wants to do it. But yeah, you should be able to see without opening your eyes. You can see. I'm not going to plant any seeds right now, except thank the Shakti and the Shiva for allowing that to occur. Every time it happens, okay?
Okay. And when I'm sleeping, when I'm inside the blanket, when I close my eyes, I see light, like white light. That's your pineal gland. That's the pineal gland that's being lit up by the Kundalini. You're doing really well. Yeah. So typically you'll see it behind your eyelids in a dark room,
You'll see
Yes.
it's really bright. It's really bright. Sometimes it's a golden white light. Sometimes it's a blue white light. Mine was a golden white light. I'd see that, and I'd look slightly up, and it beautiful, just gorgeous,
Right.
absolutely beautiful.
Even in the day when I close my eyes, and
Yes.
after some time when I open my eyes, I see everything in purple color in the bright daylight.
Yeah, that's a royal color. That's right. That's right. Blue, sacred blue, which is sacred male, and red, sacred feminine. When they come together, they create sacred purple. And that's what's happening to you. They've come together. This is part of the merge.
Okay.
The divine merge. The divine merge. Yeah, good going, Mohan. Excellent going.
Thank you, Master.
Okay. And thank you for calling in. All right. I'm going to put you in the blue
Thank you,
here.
Master. Sure.
And coming on over to Shantara. Doesn't look like Rosemary. Joey have a question. So, okay.
Okay.
Shantara, could you make an announcement of the Germany one?
I can, of course. The German seminar, the seminar in Germany is happening at the end of May, which is a month after Mohan's one. It's happening on the 26th and 27th of May. And it's happening in a place called Karlsruhe. And the person who's hosting this is Manisha Manish. And if you want to find out more about this seminar, go to Kundalini Seminars and Events with Chrism. It's a Facebook page. So that's May 26th and May 27th, guys. And get on to Manisha, and she'll fill you in on more details.
Thank you, my dear. Anything
so I
to
have
say
a
about,
question.
What?
I have a question. Can I ask?
Please.
Not
Please.
from me, but from into my inbox.
Go ahead,
Okay.
my dear.
So the question is, since my Kundalini awakening, I feel strong emotional pain and burden, which feels like whatever was buried in the subconscious is coming to the surface. Even a trivial matter that happens triggers as an intense emotional response from me. How to dissolve this pain and feel at ease with myself, please.
Well, you don't get to dissolve the pain. You get to feel the pain, because the pain is like a laser pointing to an issue. And so you need to look at the issue, and the memory will come in, and how did you handle the issue? And if you didn't handle it well, how would you handle it now? Would you incorporate forgiveness to a greater level or degree? Would you incorporate tolerance to a greater level of degree? Would you incorporate patience? Would you incorporate trust of the divine? Would you incorporate love in the many aspects of love into the equation? How do you self-correct yourself away from that? And the other thing that you really want to do is looking at forgiving yourself for this. Forgiving the other person or the situation for that. It's got an anchor in you, because there is something in you that is refusing to let it go. You must try to forgive them and you, and both parties need to be forgiven towards unlocking a lot of the emotional issues that are being shown as blocking your path. Over.
Thanks, Chrism. Chrism, how do you feel about Kambo and Kundalini?
Kambo, when you're licking the frog, which is what Kambo is, when you're licking the frog, it's an extreme level of purification. Some people, it's a lot of vomiting. For me, I wouldn't do it because, I don't handle vomiting
There's a lot
that
of vomiting.
well. I've already done that. I vomited enough for my entire life. But Kambo is, what? This is what I see with Kambo. Kambo is like hitting your head against the wall, and then when you stop, going, oh, God, that feels so good that I've stopped hitting my head against the wall. Wow, I feel great. So unless you have severe toxicity of one or, a lot of stuff to get rid of, which Kambo can help you do that. The cleanliness that you feel afterwards, it's an extreme purge. It's an extreme purge. But it doesn't purge the personality. It doesn't purge the emotions. It doesn't purge the mentality. It purges the physical body. So, take it from there. Now, during the purge, you can actually purge some negative energies out. So I'm not gonna dismiss it as completely useless. But it's not something that I would recommend, except if my Kundalini was recommending it for a specific individual for a specific issue. Ayahuasca does a very similar thing. Oh my God, you can literally swim in your vomit, like I did, for a certain amount of time. But I only did that once out of 7 ayahuasca experiences. I only was, doing laps in my vomit one time. But that one time is a game changer. So with Kambo, if you feel that you have a level of detox that you want to go through, that you want to do a lot of vomiting, you want to do a lot of, shall we say, intestinal cleansing, stomach cleansing, maybe second, third, possibly some lower fourth chakra cleansing, go for it. There are other ways that the Kundalini will have you do that, though. One of the other ways is drinking tobacco juice. That will also make you, have a lot of vomiting. Now, I just got warned, Santara, that I've got 90 seconds left. Did you hear that?
I can see it here. Yeah, Chrism. Very little time.
So, any last words, my dear?
My last word is to thank you very much and to thank everybody for coming, people in the chat room, people listening, and we will see you all again next week, same time.
Thank you. And thank you, Santara, for being here, for creating this opportunity to reach into the populations. I hear a lot of positive things about this blog talk that we do, and it's all because of you. So many, many thanks to you, Santara. I would like to thank everybody listening in the archives. I'd like to thank, as Santara did, the people in the chat room. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I'd like to thank the people who called in, for the people who asked questions, and for the people that didn't ask questions. You can see some of the videos at the YouTube channel at Chrism.Kundalini, on the YouTube network, and of course on Facebook, Kundalini Awakening, ! Kundalini Awakening Systems 1, 2, 3, Kundalini People, Kundalini Journeys, Kundalini Healing, public and private. Have a beautiful time. Oh well. Are you still there, Santara? Can you hear me?
I am. But I think it's done, isn't it?
I'm not sure I got my alm in. I feel terrible now. But I gave a real big alm in the beginning.
You did. Okay. Will we end the episode then?
Do we have to go? Really? Do you want to name it? Should we name it now?
Yeah, let's do that.
Kundalini.
Can we be still heard by any chance?
I think so. I think everybody here can hear us. Yeah. If I can hear you, then they can hear us.
Okay.
So I think we should call this program Kundalini and the Jewels of Past. No, Kundalini and the Past Jewels of Wisdom.
Kundalini and the Past Jewels of Wisdom. Just wrote that down. Okay. Yay.
Da-da-da. Hey, I hope things go well for you. I hope you're feeling better. really.
Oh yeah, there's a great detox going on, Chrism, and there's lots of other stuff, diet stuff, and she's got me in lots of devotion and doing lots of stuff. So
maybe you want to consider combo.
No, thank you. No.
I think they have.
Very much.
They have frogs. Don't they have frogs in Ireland? You can lick a frog there too. The Irish frogs are good.
Yeah, but in actual fact, they are having combo ceremonies around in Ireland. They obviously don't bring the frogs, so they must be bringing some kind of a potion or something.
Maybe so. I don't know, but I know that combo can be very helpful with people that are overindulging in other substances.
Right.
Whatever that may be. But it can, people feel a really strong level of cleanliness afterwards. But to me, that's kind of like, once you stop hitting your head against the wall, it feels better, right?
Yeah, I understand that actually. Yeah.
But, it's just not something that I would recommend for Kundalini people, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't. It's more of a it's a certain tribe.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say the ayahuasca, the vomiting is sort of. I'm not going to say that it's a byproduct of it, but like with combo, I think it's the main thing, isn't it? I mean, you vomit no matter what. Yeah.
I don't see the point of it. No. I mean, maybe with rosemary, maybe rosemary could use a really strong vomiting session. I'm just kidding, Rosemary. I know you can hear me. That's
they can still hear us, and I know why, because they'd be gone if they couldn't. Hi, Rosemary and Joey. But obviously, it's not recording.
No,
that's probably
recording.
it.
There.
Yeah.
Ishmael's still on too. I'm gonna bring
and
everybody into the conversation here. Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. So Ishmael, I don't think you need combo, but I think ayahuasca would be really good for you. Removing blockages is a lot of what the vomiting's about. And you'll vomit both ways too. Is that right, Rosemary? You vomit both ways?
Sure. You can.
I did.
What do you think, Joey?
Well, I've done it both ways.
Yeah. So we've never done this with the program before. We've never had this like conversation after the show's over. This is the first. I kind of like it. I think it's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's like we've got this 5-way chat going on right now. That's very cool. Ishmael, I really encourage you to go to South America and visit the place.
Yes, I want to go so bad.
Yeah, I've been to Brazil. Brazil's really fun. Did you like Brazil, Santara?
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did very much.
Brazil was really fun, and gosh, and Peru is a real trip in and of itself. All of us here, except for you, on this 5-way chat, have been to Peru. I mean, how did you like it, Joey?
Well, of course, I didn't like not being able to breathe. I would have enjoyed it, I think, a little more had I been able to breathe a little more easily.
Oh, you're so picky.
But it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful country.
The one thing that I didn't say about Peru is that you're going to have to chew the coca leaf. And people, always take a step back and take an inhalation of breath. And you mean cocaine? I have to do cocaine to be in Peru? He says, no, it's not cocaine. It's the coca leaf. It's what they process cocaine from, in addition to the other materials that they add to it. But this is what the Incas did in order to acclimate to the high altitude. To go to to go to Alonso del Rio's, you're almost at 10,000 feet. Something to consider. Most of the people there, myself included, I chewed the coca leaf. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get around very easy. You'll have altitude sickness. So you need to be okay with that. It's not going to hurt you. It's actually quite nutritious for you. The leaf, the raw leaf, is fine. It has nothing to. I mean, except for like some of the retired nuns that I brought with us there. They couldn't get enough coca leaf. They're going, is there any way I can use a straw to get this in my nose? But aside from that, it was just fine. I'm only kidding. Not about nuns. We brought nuns with us, just to see if they could fly. One nun. And they flew. They absolutely flew. The ayahuasca helped them fly. So, thank you, everybody. Thank you. If I didn't have to go pee, I would stay on longer. TMI. I know.
I went to
TMI.
I'm going to share. I went to pee during the program. You better go.
Well, that's okay too. That's all right.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to have to take care of that issue. Love you all. Thank you all. And Ishmael, contact me privately, okay?
Thank you. I sure will. Thank you all so much.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
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 Beobachten wir heute mal die Geschicklichkeit von Holger dem Schreiner. Während seine rechte Hand ein Brett sägt, schreibt die linke eine Rechnung. Gleichzeitig öffnet sein Fuß die seitliche Schiebetür seines Citroën Jumpy.
Ein guter Transporter ist wie ein guter Handwerker, ein echter Allrounder. Der Citroën Jumpy schon ab 175 € im Monat. Optional mit Hands-Free Schiebetüren. Jetzt bei den Citroën Business Days. Citroën.